Alright, welcome back everybody. So today I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a rundown on some common mistakes that happen during this baby block little project that we have going on. So if for some reason your iPad is being funky and your project is not working properly, or it's not clicking, or you have a black screen, or you're just very confused at everything, I would recommend watching my baby block tutorial first and then hopping onto this video where you are and seeing if I can help you kind of solve some of your problems. Okay, so to get going, I'm going to do some of this demo on my current baby block project because I think it's a good way to kind of troubleshoot some of the problems that you guys might have. So I logged on to Amazon, AWS, and I'm going to change my screen resolution to 1280 by 720. We'll have that resize. And then what I'm going to do is go over to the waffle iron, click. I'm going to double click on my baby block project. No, I want to go back. I'm going to go back home here and just make sure that I'm clicking on the right thing. Double click on baby block project. It should have a latest version. It says 7:16 p.m. I don't know if that's right or not. Let's double click and see. Double click, and let's see if everything loads. We'll just wait for it. Okay, so I can see that there are some files in here. Okay, I think we're good. It says baby blocks version 2. I think the time's wrong, but that's okay. I'm going to close this up, and I'm going to click on the eyeball for my block 1 and my block 2. Okay. So here are some common mistakes that we make during this baby block project as we're trying to figure things out. We always want to keep in mind what current project or component is active in the project browser. Remember, our main file is an assembly file because we have multiple components. You can tell that it's an assembly file because there's a bunch of these little blocks stacked up. And then this file currently is made up of 3 components: block S, block T, and block E, which I have not made yet. Okay, so in order to get going on block E and show you some common mistakes, what I'm going to do is I am going to activate block E. Everything else should get grayed out. Good. And then I'm going to click on the eyeball and hide block S and block T. Okay, so let's get going here. I always want to start out by clicking on this Create Sketch button. Now, check this out. When I click on my plane, this is actually called the XY plane, and I start drawing, let's say that I'm going to draw a 2-point rectangle, and let's just say I accidentally click over here and I click here, and I did one of these. I kept clicking and clicking and clicking, and now I'm annoyed and I don't know what to do. I have a whole bunch of different rectangles, and I'm not obviously in class with you to help you. So here's what I would say to do. If you make a mistake like this, chances are you kept your drawing tool active and you just kept clicking because you didn't know how to exit this drawing tool. So here's how you fix this. Whenever you're done drawing, right click with the right mouse button and then left click cancel. What that does is it deactivates our drawing tool. Then, if you want to delete individual things, you can click on them and hit the delete button on your keyboard, possibly. Okay. Or, that didn't work for me, so we're going to troubleshoot this together. Or, you're going to select all by clicking and dragging a box around everything. Right click on any of those parts and click on the delete button then, and it should all disappear. Okay? So, the other thing that you can do, let's just say we're drawing, oh no, there's too many boxes, and we want to delete them. Remember, right click, first hit cancel, then you could select what you want to delete by left clicking, right click, hit delete, and it will delete that individual piece. So for example, we're drawing a rectangular, two-dimensional rectangular square. There's 4 lines there. So you can actually right click and hit delete on each individual line if you want to delete it individually. Okay, so sometimes this happens. I right clicked and it's kind of stuck down and it's drawing this weird thing. That's okay. Right click again if you need to, and just hit, you can either hit undo or you can left click over here and try and get out of that little window. Again, the iPad is definitely funky. It is not meant for this program, but we're gonna kind of work this out. So let's delete all this stuff. Highlight and right click, left click delete, and it's done. Okay, so notice down here, okay, this is a new area that we're going to discuss. So notice down here there are two different like little symbols. These are the sketch symbols. It says somehow in my clicking, I've made two different sketches for block E. I want to get rid of those and start fresh. So I'm going to finish sketch. And down here, because block E is active, this is kind of like the history of what I've been doing for my current shape. So I'm going to right click this sketch and delete it. And I'm going to right click this sketch here and delete it. So now for block E, there's nothing there. So watch what I'm going to do. Create sketch like we have, click on the XY plane. There's only one sketch active, which is good. I'm going to draw my rectangle. Okay. And I taught you before to type 1.5 without clicking, hit the tab key on your keyboard, and then type 1.5 again and hit the enter key, and it will be fully dimensioned. But let's just say you didn't do that. So I'm going to delete this. Right click, delete. Let's say maybe you drew a rectangle and you hit enter without dimensioning it. Okay? So remember, before we do anything, we have to right click and hit cancel because we're done drawing. Now if you want to dimension these individually, we can go down to the create button and click the letter D for dimension, or you can use your keyboard. So you'll see that this button's now active. We can left click on a line, move our mouse up, left click again and type 1.5 and hit enter. Good. Let's go on this side. Because my dimensioning tool is still active, I can just keep going. Left click again, 1.5. Now we don't have to do this. Watch this. You might get this error. If you left click, you try and dimension this one, it's going to say adding this dimension will over constrain the sketch. We never want to do that. Okay, if you see this window, always, always, always click on cancel. Okay, and it'll say that there was potentially an error. But we did not dimension this. We did not over-dimension this. The reason that this doesn't, the reason that we shouldn't do this is because if the top of this rectangle is always is dimensioned to 1.5, the bottom doesn't need to be dimensioned as well. It's always going to be equal because it's a square. Okay. If I try and dimension this one here, okay, it's going to say adding this dimension will over-constrain the sketch. Let's just say you accidentally clicked OK because you didn't know what you were doing. Okay, it's going to give you a dimension in parentheses. We don't want this. We want to get rid of this. Okay, now if I want to delete this, which I do, I have to get out of the dimensioning tool. So just like anything else, I need to right click, left click cancel, and now I can delete this the same way by right clicking, hitting delete, and now that dimension goes away. So we're in good shape. Okay, let's hit finish. Okay, so let's say this. You can close that door. You can hear Mr. Pollock. Okay, thank you. So if I want to extrude this now, I finished my sketch. You can see that my sketch is down here. Okay, I would normally click on the extrude button. I'm going to type 1.5 and hit OK. Okay. And then I can zoom in so I can see what my shape looks like. And now down here in my history, I can see I have a sketch and then I have an extrusion. Well, check this out. Let's just say that my sketch had the wrong dimensions on it. In order to edit this shape without having to start over, I can go down here. Okay, this is my project history. I can right click on the sketch, hopefully. Right click, right click. If my right click is not working, oh, you know why it's not? Because look, my zoom button was still active. Okay, so in order to get rid of this, I'm going to, or edit my sketch, I'm going to come down here and right click and hit, let's see if I can do that. Let's try this again. Sometimes it doesn't want to click where you want to. That's okay. What if we left click? Ooh. So let's left click, then right click, yeah, and hit edit sketch. So now, click the pan button and come over here. So let's just say we wanted to change a dimension. So to do that, I'm going to right click and hit cancel. I'm going to hit D for dimension, or you can go down in that little menu, but see my dimension tool is active, and I'm going to click on this one, double click so I can edit it. Let's just say I wanted for some reason the shape to be 3 inches by 1.5. I can edit that dimension, I can hit finish sketch, and look, it's going to update for me automatically. Okay, so whenever you edit things down here, it will update for you. So let's say I want to go back and I want to fix that and bring it back to 1.5. To do that, look, my pan, because I'm panning this around, my pan tool is still active. So I'm going to right click and hit cancel, so that goes away. Left click on my sketch, right click, you're going to left click edit. Okay, I'm going to pan this down here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to click on create, click on sketch dimension, or you can hit the letter D. Double click this dimension and type 1.5 to bring that back to normal, and then just hit finish sketch and your shape should go back to normal. Okay, and I'm going to move this over here. Now, let's say we want to change the extrusion. We can do the exact same thing. We can right click and hit cancel to get rid of the pan view tool. We're going to right click on my extrusion and click edit feature, and we can change this and make this whatever shape or whatever length that we want to edit it. Okay, so let's just say we wanted it to be 2.4. We can go in and hit OK, and it's going to just edit the shape for us. You can always go right back into this extrusion and edit it without completely having to redo your shape. So I'm going to keep it at 1.5. Okay. Let's see here. So this is good to know. Your history of all of the stuff that you're doing on your shape is going to end up down here. Let's say we want to add some text, which we do, because this is block E. We need to always create a new sketch. Okay. Let's say we screwed up accidentally and we clicked on this top face rather than here. Okay. And we didn't realize anything yet. And we went over to create because we know the proper instructions. We're going to go to text. We're going to click and drag our text box and then click again, and we're going to type, E, and let's just say we're going to make it at 1.4. We're going to put it right in the middle, and we're going to hit finish sketch, and then we're like, oh no, we screwed up, it's on the wrong side. How do we fix this? Well, you can't just copy and paste this down here. You can, but you don't know how to do that yet, so don't worry about doing that. The easiest thing to do is to just delete the sketch that you just made down here. Right click and hit delete. Then you can go right back in, click on the proper face. Again, if this window ever comes up that components have been moved, always click capture position. And you're going to do the same thing. Create text and click and drag, click again. Okay, left click. Oh, see, I accidentally right clicked, so this menu came up, so I'm just going to left click cancel. Let's try this again. Create text, click and drag, left click, and now it works perfect. E, make this bold, make this 1.4. We'll just say hit OK, and then we're going to click on finish. Notice we have another sketch down here, which is good. Extrude, and we're going to cut. So we're going to drag this in. Now let's just say this. Let's say we went too far and hit OK. That's not going to look good. That does not look like a good baby block, so we need to fix this thing. We need to fix the extrusion. To fix it, right click on your extrusion down here and click Edit Feature, and we can change this to minus 0.05. And that is exactly how we want it to look like. Okay. Whenever I'm done making something, I always want to hit the Save button. Okay, you can describe it, or you can give a version description if you want to. I'm just going to hit OK. And now, every time that I go into a new component, you'll see the history down here, which we can edit. So check this out. Let's go into my block S. So we're going to make my block S active by clicking on that little button. We're going to hide my block E by not looking at it, and we're going to show my block S. I'm going to click on the home button so I can kind of see what's going on. Okay. Now look, now you'll start to notice down here, you can see my extrusions and my sketches. Because I did my main cube, I need to do one sketch and then an extrusion. Then I did my front S sketch, then my front S extrusion, and then I did my back S sketch, and then my back S extrusion, and that is how my file looks. Okay. I think that is all that I have. Oh, I want to show you one more thing. Again, get used to using these pan tools and these look at tools, and also using this view cube up here. It's very, very helpful. Now, if we open up the waffle iron over here, okay, you can see that in my Baby Blocks project, I now have 3 versions because I just hit save again. I can click on these different versions and I can open up different versions that I've made a couple days ago. This might be a little bit advanced for where we are right now, but just know that if you screwed something up, you can always go back and open up a different version. Now, let's say this. Let's say that in your Baby Block project, okay, so here's my Baby Block project. Let's say that you accidentally clicked New Project again, and you have a bunch of these new projects that you somehow can't get rid of. Okay, I like to kind of have my files as organized as possible, and if I have one that says New Project and there's nothing in it, I want to get rid of it. So to get rid of this project, you can't necessarily delete it. I don't know why, but what you can do is do something called archiving to get it off your screen. So if you right-click this accidental new project and click on Archive, it will go away. Okay, you can get it back eventually. There's nothing in it, but it'll hide from your screen. So that'll go away. So let's go back into our Baby Block project by double-clicking. If you guys click on New Folder right here, accidentally, and let's just say you put a new folder in here, if you want to get rid of this, your folders you can delete. So if you right-click on New Folder, you can hit the Delete button. Yes, we're sure we want to delete our new folder. Okay, last thing I have for you. If your units are wrong, okay, let's say you drew this thing in metric, you can always change your unit by going into, let me close out of this so we can see, your document settings, which is the drop down. Go to your units and click on this little pencil, and you can change your active unit type to inch. Okay, we will always want to set that as our default. Okay. Now, if for some reason your mouse is not working properly, I showed you this on another video, but I'm just going to show you now to refresh your memory. If you go into your settings button, I'm going to use my finger here. Let's see if I can find my settings. It's right in front of me. Okay. If you go down to your trackpad and mouse setting here, I like to bring my tracking speed all the way up. It kind of mimics like an actual computer. And then for here where it says mouse, secondary click, this should be labeled right. Okay, that should be labeled right. If you don't see secondary click on here, that means that you didn't set your mouse up properly. To set it up properly, you need to go to the accessibility area down here, click on it, go to touch, click and make sure assistive touch up in the top of the screen there is on, and then click on assistive touch. Okay. And down here where it says devices, you should be able to see your mouse under connected devices, and you should have been able to customize an additional button. Again, to do this, you click on customize additional button, and you have to read. Press a button on your pointer device to choose an action. So I'm going to click on the right click mouse, or mouse button. Right click, and then I want this to be labeled secondary click. I already did this, so it's already checked. And then I'm going to go back. Okay? This should get you in good shape to be on Fusion and to be successful for this project. If you have any questions, ask me, and I can always make another video to kind of help you guys through this process. All right? Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.